This is John MacDonald. I'm going to do a weekly report on the election campaign in my constituency of Hayes and Harlington, the issues I'm finding on the doorstep and the campaigns that we're waging within our local area. So far I'm canvassing every day. I'm talking to people on the doorstep, I'm meeting people at various meetings and on the bus in the street. What's coming up on the doorstep is, well, real concerns about what's happening in the health service. People feel the NHS is under threat. They know that the privatisation has taken place and they're worried about the future of the NHS. They're worried about what's happening at our local hospital, Hillingdon Hospital. In a recent government report it was described, the fabric of the buildings was described as like something out of the third world. And the last government was looking to rebuild the hospital altogether, but this government cancelled it, and we're now seeing the results of that. So there's real worries about whether or not the NHS will survive if the Conservatives get back. Housing, another issue which is an absolute crisis within our area. People living in overcrowded, insanitary conditions, paying huge amounts in rent, and mortgages are really high. The cost of housing in this area has literally gone through the roof and rents have rocketed. Last Friday I visited a family living in a shed, paying £400 a month to live literally in a shed. All three of them sleeping in a double bed in insanitary conditions, damp coming through the ceiling and the walls. So we're facing a housing crisis, and people are just saying, why aren't councils building homes anymore? Why aren't we controlling rents, and why aren't we tackling the issue of homes standing empty within our area when families are in desperate need? People are also saying to me, look, they're working all hours, God send, just to keep a roof over their heads and to put food on the plate and to actually just survive. And the problem is low wages. That's why we're campaigning for a living wage, but the living wage in this area for us is £10 an hour at least. I'm also finding lots of people who are suffering now because they've had their benefits cut or they've been sanctioned. People with disabilities in particular have been gone through work capability assessment and have been told they're fit for work, and yet physically they can't work, physically just can't do the job, and they're suffering badly. I've spoken to quite a few young people, and what I found there is that they're up for change. They want change, radical change, and I'm hoping now that we can convince people that a Labour government would be radical enough to tackle all these problems, end all the privatisation on the NHS, build the homes we need, control the rents, make sure people have a living wage, a proper wage, and are not exploited at work through long hours and, yes, 0 hours contracts. Just give people hope. I think that's what people want. That's the message back from the first week of the campaign in my constituency. Give people hope.